Dear Father, can you hear me? I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past, cause you won't rhyme with me. Dear Father, can you hear me? I'm all alone and I'm feeling empty. I'm paranoid, so I keep the blicky. Had to leave you in the past, cause you won't rhyme with me.
Dreaming, but I'm still woke. Praying, but I'm losing hope. Standing, but I'm falling slow. I'm all alone, you wouldn't know. Picture me rolling, got them bands on me.
Shout out to dads everywhere. I'm Lennox's dad, James.
I'm JV and David's dad, John.
Welcome to another episode of Present Pillars. So we started this movement to highlight all aspects of fatherhood, the good, the bad, and the ugly. If you don't take anything from this show, just remember this one thing. To be a good dad, you have to be a present dad first. So today we have Kevin Moore, K-Mo, my classmate, mental health professional, father, community activist, co-founder of 400 Black, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So how you feeling?
I feel good, man. You know, besides the little weather outside, other than that,
Man.
I feel really good, man. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity. Any acknowledgement as well, fellas, for sure.
Good to have you.
Appreciate you. Mr. Mo, I'm going to break it down. Tell us a little about yourself, man.
Well, you know, like you guys just said, I'm from Benton Harbor. Graduated in 2007 with my man James over here.
Best class.
For sure. You know it.
Y'all old.
Played a little ball in high school. Like I said, graduated. Went on to college at the good old PSC, Philander Smith College. Shout out PSC in Little Rock, Arkansas, too. That's my alma mater. So, yeah, wanted to come back home. Came back in like 2015. And it just didn't work out how I wanted it to work out. But everything happened for a reason. I ended up working at a residential in South Bend, you know, and was doing what I was called to do and destined to do, which is create and inspire, enlighten, and design young minds. You know what I mean? So worked up there, then went back up to Big Rapids to do the same kind of work for about 4 years, and then wanted to come home and help start our 400 Black Mentoring Program with my brother Nick and my brother Jay. So we did that, and we getting that rolling right now. Well, we are rolling with that right now. So I'm happy to be back. Work at the Community Mental Health Center right now. So I'm slowly but surely making my way back into the community, you know, and trying to get back for sure.
So you mentioned 400 Black, the organization you co-founded.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So 400 Black just came from a call to action in the community, you know. Another co-founder, Nick Blue, you know, he was here for a couple years before me. And it's something that we always been talking about, you know, just starting a mentoring program in Benton Harbor. Just from the work that we did, you know, while we were on our journeys before we came back home, you know, kind of led us to that point, you know. We ended up working at the same place in Big Rapids. And, you know, this is something that we used to always talk about, you know, just being pillars in our community, kind of like you guys, too. So it's you know, we got 4 pillars of the program. It's mental health, education, career and life skills, and community support, you know. So that's what we're trying to do, you know. And we getting some speed with it too. We getting some speed with it. You know, it's moving really well. So if you got a son aged 10 to 17, man, just hit us up on Facebook at 400 Black Mentoring Program.
Nice. Yeah, I watched you guys in action. It was a kid. You guys are doing some experiential learning.
Mm-hmm.
Not like this is extremely dope. Can you tell us a little about that before we get into?
So yeah, like during my journey up in Big Rapids, man, you know, I was just a direct care staff. That's kind of usually what I was doing, right? Then I met a guy who was in school for this, you know, and me having like a sports background, you know, and then working at a place like this. And, you know, when I was in college, I did mention that I got a bachelor's in psychology. So, you know, I'm mixing all of this work, you know, with what I'm doing, which, you know, I could say I've been successful at it, you know, being direct care staff. So I felt like it was time for me to learn something else. And it just seemed like the universe just set that in my lap. So experiential learning was like, you know, it's learning while doing. So it focuses on, you know, the processing after the activity, you know. So it's group sports, it's team games, it's we take you through these challenging activities, just to find out who you really are so you can understand exactly why you were feeling like this at this exact time. But it's also fun, you know. It's not like it's forced, it's challenged by choice. It's challenged by choice method, man. So, you'll see us having fun and you want to participate. So even if you need to take 5 minutes to yourself, what you can do is take your 5 minutes, come back to the group, and then after the activity is concluded, we process it. We talk about it. And for me, that's exactly what my community is missing. How to deal with frustration, frustration tolerance, how to communicate effectively, how you feeling at that moment, without lashing out, at the wrong person, doing the wrong thing or doing something that you'll regret that you can't come back from. What experiential learning teaches you is how to communicate those feelings. You know what I mean? So like how to approach a situation, or a stressful situation and get the outcome that you want or the outcome that you desire. So that's a little bit about it. But it's a whole lot more to that too.
So tying in what you just said about the young man. So in the earlier conversation, you mentioned how you yourself went through a conversation where things were being said or things were being done that weren't favorable to you, but instead of going on the offensive, you stayed still and stayed quiet, right?
Right.
So has your experiences with 400 Black and experiential learning, like, have they shaped how you approach fatherhood and co-parenting as well?
That's a good question. So yeah, I have to say yeah. And for the reasons like I was learning while I was doing this. You know what I mean? So to be fair, I was really going through experiential learning process, as I was working with other people's kids and help being a factor or being present in other kids' lives where they were at a facility and they couldn't go home. This was their home. You know what I mean? This was their home. So I've been doing that since 2013, and the experiences that I had doing that, it was like I've always thought about what type of father I wanted to be. I mean, I didn't have an example. I saw a couple around the way, but all while I'm working with these kids, it's like I'm learning as I go. So I'm learning how to be more nurturing.
Right.
Like I'm learning about trauma. I'm learning like what's a trigger for these kids. I'm learning how to apologize. And I never had a problem apologizing before, but when you gotta apologize to a kid because you were wrong, I'm learning how to do this. So it's nothing to me, even though it was natural. People still go against their natural feelings, but I didn't. I leaned into it more so. So just, being that pillar in those kids' lives in the population that we serve, definitely I feel prepared me for fatherhood. But it's like it prepare you when your son get that age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not working in these facilities with infants, toddlers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just prepare you for what's really to come, when he get 8, 9, and he can really respond and you guys can really talk and you begin to get responses from him, So it's a little bit different, man.
Tell us about your son, man.
Oh man, my boy Caleb.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, man, Caleb. He's 1. He's gonna be 2 in April. That's my boy. He lives with his mom. He real active, he follow me everywhere I go. I can't go nowhere without him following me. No, you ain't supposed to, but my boy, he can't even go to sleep if he ain't laying on me and rubbing my belly, Just all of this stuff, man. Yeah. Like, he looked just like me. So when I was a kid, so when I see him, it's like, man, your eyes look exactly like mine, and just him growing, man. He was a preemie.
Yeah.
And, during COVID, couldn't go to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't be in there until the next day. So, man, I shot up there and I had to sit in my car all night until the next morning that another visitor could come in. Yep. So, that was scary, just him being a preemie. I had never dealt with nothing like that, especially with it being my first kid.
Yeah.
You know, I was kind of scared. I'm glad everything worked out. He getting big, man. Got a little big head, nappy hair just like mine. You know, but he enjoyed, man. He learned real quick, smart. For sure, I know everybody say that about their kids, but I'm glad all y'all kids smart too. My son's smart,
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean? Like for sure. He helped a lot, you know. He helpful. I just have a joy with him, you know. When I got him, it's like, man, it's a good feeling, man. It's like somebody once told me, you know, if they could really explain the love that they have for their kid, it would be. It's like having your heart outside your body.
Wow.
You know what
They
I
never
mean?
look at it.
Yeah, and I felt that. I really did feel that.
And I can hear the pride in your voice when you talk about your son, you know. But you did mention earlier that.
Proud to be a dad.
Oh, absolutely,
For sure.
absolutely, man. It kind of
Highest
motivates you to keep moving.
No doubt.
You mentioned that you didn't have a father in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any, number one? How did it impact you? And did you have any other father figures in your life, the lead guy?
So being a middle child, man, I'm observant. You know, like you don't want to do too much. You want to do just enough. You know what I mean, to get some attention. So I was observant. Luckily, I played sports. You know, so I always had like a coach that doted on me because I probably was. You know, I was a good kid for one, and then you know I was good at sports. So I say coaches. I had older cousins who looked out for me. You know, led me the right way. My cousin Sheldon, you know, and my cousin Larry Allen Jr. for sure. And as I got older, you know, that was like my youngest, you know. Sheldon was just real active. So we used to always, and he used to cut my hair. And he, you know, we hooped. He was in college, you know. So
Yeah.
I didn't look up to him, I guess, like a dad, but he was a good dude. You know what I mean? Like, he was a good dude, and I guess that's what I got from him for sure. And same with my other cousin too. You know, they just looked out for me, Mr. Allen. But as I got older, you know, and started to understand and try to find my own way, you know, I had to say, Coach Ramsey Nichols always played that part of my life where, you know, if I ever needed something, I could always hit him up. So, you know, we got real, you know, me and Rambo real tight still, you know, to this day. And even when you don't talk to people every day, nothing like that, just to know you still could reach out to them, that's still love, though. Yeah, for sure. So, and what he was doing, it's like, man, I'm on your team, so I might as well just, you know, look up to you like you're doing that. So it's something to watch. It was something good to watch. You know, he was passionate about what he was doing, you know. And to me, man, he was just a good dude too, man. Just a good brother. Cool guy, for sure.
That's what's up. So, being a new dad, right? Because I'm a new dad too.
Yeah.
Take me to that moment when you found out you was going to be a dad.
I mean,
What's going through your head?
I mean, Trent, if I could be transparent, man, it was a shock, you know, because immediately, you know, she ain't 9 months at this point, you feel me? So I still can think the worst, you know, at this point, you know. Not like think the worst about like abortion. I'm talking about think the worst of like
Right.
what type of father I'm gonna be and where I'm gonna be. Because at this moment, it's like what ran through my mind when I say think the worst is I know I'm not gonna be with this lady. You know, like I know I'm not gonna be with her. I don't even know her, you know. And here I am, like past 30. You know, I've been doing real good, not, you know, waiting until it's my time, you know. But that's what it was, though. Like, I'm not going to be with her and my son not going to have a 2-parent household.
Wow.
If I could, you know, to say the least. So immediately, I'm already forward thinking, you know. Like, I got this forward thinking going on. Like, man, how can I be a good dad and I ain't even going to be there?
Wow. How did it affect you? Mentally?
Like, thinking that?
Yeah. That seems stressful.
It's draining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now you're still thinking the worst. And then you're still dealing with this person's feelings too. You know, like you're not just basking in your own feelings. Like you really we really got to take on them feelings too, you know, immediately, just like that.
That's a
I
lot.
felt like I was at somebody's mercy, man.
And essentially, you might be right.
Yeah.
And as a society tell you as a man, you got to take on all these responsibilities and this thought process, and that's heavy, right? Because if the shoe's on the fit, you can just worry about you and the baby, but you got to worry about you, the baby, and the mother, essentially, right? And then how you gonna manage and maneuver, and then still have to be there and be present for your kids. So that's heavy.
And yourself.
And yourself.
Yeah, because what if you're not a good father? Like, then what if you don't got an opportunity to be a good father? You know, like what if this the worst situation possible for everything else you've done in your life? Here come your karma right here.
Mm.
You know, like it's just scary to me.
Yeah.
You know, because like I say, you just feel like you at somebody's mercy. You know, and like you say, you really are though. So what you do, you tread lightly, you take a back seat to feelings. You know what I mean? Like you so conscious of how you talk to a person because you've seen so many bad stories, so many bad movies. So somebody you know within arm's reach is going through something that's heartbreaking to the point where they cry to you plenty times, you know?
Yeah.
Or just trying to be a dad and they just don't got no opportunity. So it affected me, man, because at that point I was scared, really. Shit, I would say that. I was scared. But I felt like I was ready. You know? I felt like I was ready, though.
Facts.
You took on the challenge, and now you got a beautiful baby boy ready to turn 2
Yeah.
in April. Shout out to the April babies. All
April
of us have
babies.
April children.
Everybody.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? But that's that. Like we all go through that. We all go through the thought of inadequacy when it comes to our kids. Will I be a good father? And the only thing you do is your best. Your best is your best is your best.
Mhm.
And every day you try to be better at your best, right? So you're going to have some lows, you got some extreme highs, but the goal is to continue to be your present pillar. You know, and like we've had people that say that, and which is true, being a present pillar doesn't always mean physically there,
Mhm.
right? I'm active in my kids' lives and they do not live with me, right? They think about daddy all the time like I think with my kids. I'm active in their lives and in their brain.
How do you do that though?
Constant communication.
Yeah.
And a lot of things for me, it was putting my pride to the side, right? When I left that household, regardless of why I left that household, I no longer are in that household. I don't make the rules in that household. Someone makes the rules for me, unfortunately. So I'm living every day by somebody else's rules. So I have to make sure that I maneuver so I can be around my babies when I need to be around my babies, when I want to be around my babies, right? One of my big things is to just say yes.
That's what I was gonna say.
Right?
Yeah.
And some people think like, whoa, just say yes, but it's a lot to do with that. So when you have your ego involved, child support, right? I pay child support. I don't worry about if it's going to crab legs. I don't worry about if it's going to fishing trips or boating trips. I'm paying so
42
my
inches.
I don't care about that shit.
Mhm.
I pay so my kids can be successful because I'm not there, so they can have meals in their plate, right? So when it's time for daddy to get them, there's no animosity because
Right.
it's the worst thing you want. You gotta think before. If you want peace in your household,
Mhm.
they need to have peace in their household, right?
Sure.
And I want peace, so I'm gonna make sure that they got peace first. So we talked about earlier that you have to make sure that you gotta worry about yourself, but you gotta worry about that household too. Before I eat a piece of bread, I have 2 households that I got to make sure is together, regardless if I'm there or not, before I can go to the store and buy some food. Unfortunately, that's a drain on my pocket, but I get a peace of mind knowing that my babies are taken care of because I'm going to always be daddy, regardless of when they life, right? But that took time, dog. My son is 11, my daughter is 8.
Yeah.
This thing just happened at 1, 2.
Right.
Yeah, it takes time.
And I think everybody else look, like at what everybody else doing, and then make them react to their situation, differently than what I say in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
Like
Break that down.
it's so y'all so worried about what's going on over here that you making this situation, you judging this situation all wrong. I only been a dad for a year, man, and about to be 2. And man, it's like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Talk. Shout out to the book that just came out.
You know, I ain't
100 copies sold.
Honey.
like I truly didn't have a guide for this shit.
Yeah.
I truly didn't have a guide for this shit, man. And my son loved me though. You know, like real talk. I know that like he feel when I'm thinking about him when he not with me. I really believe that because I think about him all the time. Like I talk about him all the time, even though I don't talk to him all the time. And you know, it's some things that I know that I'm doing wrong right now that I know I need to correct. Like I ain't above it either though.
Right.
You know. But I truly don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And if I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and somebody else don't know what the fuck they doing, or they don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing.
Nobody know anything, honestly.
You know, I don't know what to do.
Experience is the best teacher, right? So even if someone gave you a guidebook that John Sims, the book is out, right? You still got shameless plug. You still got to go through your go through. You know what I mean?
Put it at the bottom.
The link will be in the end, right? But you still have to go through that because your life is not my life, right?
Right.
You know, your situation is different. Everybody have these traumas that are unaddressed, and then when you bring a baby in this world, regardless of if you're married, if you separated, it's trauma, and then they weren't about how they parent. They weren't about how they didn't have one. So everybody's just trying. And it's unfortunate that it's people that say that you're not doing what you need to be doing when you have no clue what I've been through, what my parents been through, and
what's going on.
Or what's going on in the first place. Right? So like you said, we're just trying to approach these things with grace is the best way that, you know, we kind of talk about, man. And then worry about your mental health too.
I was just about to say that. You know, I don't think you can really be as effective as a parent, you know, or effective as a co-parent if you ain't dealt with your trauma or you're not really ready to deal with your trauma.
Yeah.
Because, like, how could you tell me anything? How could you tell me anything? Like, you're not even rational. Like, you're not even thinking rational right now. Like, you're not even ready to deal with the trauma, you know, that came from your family. You know?
Yeah.
And then you don't even understand or care about the trauma that's in my family.
Right.
You know? Effective communication, man. We all talk about it, but it don't always work. If the other party not ready to listen or comprehend, it'll never work. So you can be as effective as you want to be, but
So as a society, right, or even as a community, what are some things that you feel we could do better in terms of, because you can look on the internet or just look around, right, and see there's always this baby mama versus baby daddy. I don't like the terms, but it's always a versus, right? Black women versus black men, right? The mom versus the dad. Like sometimes the kid get caught up in it. So like, what kind of things would you say we could put in practice to kind of start curbing that?
from my experience, man, learn more about trauma, family and where it come from.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you start learning this as a kid, you know what I mean? Maybe you'll start picking your partners differently.
Wow.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
And when you start picking your partners differently, maybe you'll find a better one than you was destined to find before you didn't even know how to recognize trigger or gaslighting or when somebody not for you or when somebody being dismissive towards you or somebody come from is in a trauma situation, never dealt with their own trauma. You can start recognizing these things and we can start picking partners better.
You said if you know better, you do better.
Whoa.
If you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
So that's something that we can do, and we can start educating them a little bit more on it, a lot more. Like you gotta know about your trauma. You got to.
It sounds like so even if you as a man, right, as a father, you understand your traumas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if your partner hasn't, is that counseling? Is that a situation where we have a sit down with a pastor or sit down with a marriage counselor? Like, how do you get? Because you don't want to tell the other person that, hey, you're fucking nuts, right? And you're irrational. But how do you get past that, right?
It's refusing to be offended. You know, you gotta refuse to be offended. If somebody not really ready to learn, you gotta refuse to be offended by that. It shouldn't stop you from being a good person. You still know the type of person that you have to be for this person to even begin that healing or really realize it, you know?
Oh, man.
Pastor Mo.
My man said you gotta refuse to be offended.
Yeah, man. Like, just on my
I'm taking
journey,
that
I
all
learned
over
that.
my life.
On my journey, I learned that at my last job, you know? Like, you gotta refuse to be offended, man. You gotta let them learn at their own pace. It's not gonna work if she don't know nothing about trauma, but she going to therapy. That's too big of a skip to me. It just seemed like, though, right?
But that's the natural step. Because we go to therapists for them to help us with our traumas before we understand what trauma is in the first place.
I'm talking about the ones that can read and comprehend on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you got somebody that's telling you, you know, like, hey, maybe you should look this up, or, you know, before we go here, just get familiar with this. You know what I mean? Like, just get familiar with this. Or if you hearing it in a relationship from a person who dealt with their trauma, you're not gonna go and look and see what that is, or you just gonna keep arguing, telling the other dude you ain't that, and you don't even know what it is. But this person know exactly what it is, because they trauma informed, but your partner not. That kind of what you was asking?
Yeah, because like I said, I go to therapy, right? But I would have never thought to look up what trauma is in the first place. And like what you just told me is like this. It's eye opening, man. You know what I mean? So even when couples go to counseling, like before they go to counseling, they need to look up what they're going for in the first place. Not that we arguing over petty stuff.
Right.
Like why does this cause an argument in the first place?
Right. You gotta be trauma informed, man.
Trauma informed. Do you have any? I mean, I know you're a local mental health professional. Do you have any resources that you can tell the audience from Ben Harbor, from other places?
Yeah, for sure. So we got this negative stigma about, you know, what the mental health, what would it be? Behavior Mental Health Center is, you know, mental health. How do you say it?
Which one?
Yeah, man, what Riverwood is, you know, it's just a building like.
I think it's a mental health institution. That's how.
Yeah. All right, I guess we go.
That's the trigger word right there.
Institution.
Yeah, institution.
Oh shit, my bad. Hey,
I've
I've been to jail.
I say like facility or center,
building,
place.
Yeah, the Behavior Mental Health Center.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a negative stigma about what that is, you know, but if we utilize it the right way, it probably can have different type of effects too, you know. I mean, if y'all, I forgot how you asked the question though.
Just to give resources at this point, because it's a lot of people that I say like myself that have been and dealt with certain things, especially when it comes to relationships, because of the trauma that I've experienced, that need to just do more than have a support group, right? To actually diagnose some of these situations to be better for my family, right?
Well, you know, like I say, Riverwood. I work at Riverwood. You know, they got places downtown that you can go to. What's the name of it?
Better Percent Health. Yeah,
you know that one. And that's something that 400 Black really looking to do as well. You know, that's in our curriculum, just community support of teaching our young men where these resources are. You know, how to access and locate and access these facilities, and you know, trying to reach out for help on their own, man. So just things like this, I mean, this for me is very therapeutic, you know. Just talking about something that I know weighs heavy on me. Get an outlet, you know, positive leisure activities. Just things like that, man.
Speaking of, don't forget to come to the Free Fatherhood events. We have those once a month, hopefully in the future we'll be able to do more. But that's exactly what it is, an opportunity to come out, enjoy your kids, fellowship with other dads, share stories, get below the surface.
And we haven't talked about this yet, but we will be partnering with 400 Black in June because this year, Father's Day
It's on June.
is on Juneteenth. So we're gonna really get it in, right?
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too, man. For sure.
It's time.
Yeah.
Man, I got a question for y'all.
Yeah.
So ever since I had a kid, I've been thinking about my own mortality way more, right? Is that normal?
It's normal
Y'all do that?
all the
You do that?
time.
Hell yeah.
I think about how it's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, like, and sometimes, like I say, I'm obsessed.
I don't think about how it's gonna happen, right? But I do think it. I know that it is gonna happen. So like, especially that my dad is in my life too, right? So as he gets older,
Yeah,
right, I'm like, oh man, he can't lift that shit no more, right? Damn, he used to break all of these leaves, right?
Yeah.
He taking a break, and then my son say, hey, daddy, you got gray hair. Right, so as I get older and I watch my dad get older, I think of like, man, he won't be there forever. So I gotta make sure I dig in now for my baby boy, for my baby girl, right? And you guys, I know you guys are young fathers, but it's gonna come a time where they're like, daddy, pick me up, and you can't do that shit no more.
Yeah, it's gonna be a time where you're gonna put them down. It's gonna be the last time you pick them up.
Yep.
I mean, you know, that was the last time.
And you don't know when it's coming. So when they act like they sleep in the back seat because they don't want to walk in the car, still pick them up. That's good for your back and your exercise. Still do it because pretty soon you're gonna say, man, just get up, let's go.
Yeah, I think about my son getting older all the time, man. Like, you know, just from seeing him being this big to where he at now, like, man, you're gonna be 40 one day, dog. That's gonna make me, shit. What's gonna be happening then?
And the coolest thing is those conversations, man. Those as the male conversations start to happen. You know, like I know I was 13, 14 having them, and I didn't have social media, so my son is having them at 10, 11. You know, 9, 10. When me and my buddy say, hey, what's I always tell this when it's a little over, but we was walking down the street, we say, what's 6'9"? We say, I don't know, right? I don't know what 6'9" is, right? But then you gotta think, kids now can get on social media and figure all that stuff out now. So you gotta watch what they watch.
Crazy kids probably doing.
They already know what's going on,
Right.
right? But you just to see your kids grow up is fantastic. But it's at the same time you get fearful because you're like, man, they're gonna go to college, and you think like when it comes to love, they're not gonna love me the same. They're not. They're gonna love you differently, but the love's still gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. You know, them father-son vacations. You know, like I know one thing. If I can help it, it ain't happening. I ain't having no more kids with nobody I ain't in a relationship with or I'm not married to. That wasn't supposed to be the plan in the first place. You feel me? That's why it's so tough for me, you know. Because just like you ain't think you was going to be a single parent, I ain't think I was going to be, this wasn't the vision for my life, you know. I just ain't out here just having kids willy-nilly with anybody.
Right.
I made it 30-something years, you know.
Right.
Like I had a plan. My plan got fucked up too. But that's another thing that, you know,
That's a conversation.
men really don't, you know, you don't get that though. You don't get that pass.
That's wild. That's wild
Because
because
fuck your life.
yeah, that's wild because when you hear that this wasn't my path, it's always goes to the mother. We don't think about the father's plans and goals and dreams and aspirations because essentially we both have to put a pause and take care of our babies, right? But you don't hear about, I plan to go to California to work. I plan to do this, to do that. But that impacts you as a man too. You have feelings. You're not a robot. You're not here to just work and go home and provide and protect. Yeah, I hear all those terminologies,
Right.
but you have a life too.
I look at it like this too, y'all. Like recently, man, I tried to, you know, I miss my boy so much, man. And I know, you know, how I'm feeling. Man, it was an opportunity to be a firefighter in Grand Rapids, you know, recently. So I'm taking the test. I'm passing the first test, second test, third test. You know, all this just so I could be, you know, being a firefighter, something I always wanted to do. Firefighter and a barber, you know.
I'm both trying to get on the calendar.
Chill, you know, both of them kind of, you know, one of them is real high, you know, high intensity, and the other one is I'm just listening to music. So that's kind of what the combination I wanted. But anyway, it was an opportunity for me to do that. So I passed all the tests. I get to the physical part, you know, and I failed the physical part. But that did something to me. Because, like, I had a plan. You know, I wanted to do this so I can move closer and be closer to my boy, you know? And it ain't work out, so now what?
Right.
Back to the same situation. Shouldering the same shit, you know, like the same burden, like, damn, it didn't work out. Failure, you know? And that was kind of hard, man. Just accepting that. I'm really still just getting over it, but it's my fault, though. I got too fat.
I know that life, bro. My shirt don't even read right. What did it say before? I don't know.
Yeah, man. I know I got the rambling a little bit. My bad.
No,
That's
you
good.
good. You good. This is. You said this is therapeutic, and hopefully we can provide this therapy session for you. So
And you helping somebody else.
you are, and that's the goal of this, right? It's reach one, teach one. It's if it's a gift, your gift is to pass it away.
Yeah.
So we at the end. You let us know. How about this, man? You let the audience know some advice that you would give a young dad, right? To inspire them to make sure that they don't go through the same obstacles that you went through, to help them alleviate some of the stress of being a young dad, a young single dad.
To you, young brother, you may think it's gonna be different, but it ain't gonna be different. You just gotta be different. You can't handle situations the same way everybody else handled the situation. You gotta learn you more. You know, the more you learn you, the more you're able to deal with, you know, those challenging situations that may come. You know, as long as you know who you are. But if you don't know you, it's gonna be real challenging for you because you're getting to know somebody else too at the same time where you're still trying to get to know yourself, still being on top of being a father, which is enough pressure in itself. So learn you know, learn your partner too. If you can take a back seat to somebody's feelings, you know, it'll make you feel a lot better about yourself, for sure.
Deep, heavy. James, anything? Any last words?
Man, we appreciate you coming through, man.
Man, thank y'all,
It was
man.
a pleasure having you.
Thank y'all, man, for real. I appreciate it,
For sure.
Thank you.
So I'll be back in like 2 years, man. See where I'm
Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do it. That's a promise.
For sure.
Because we're not going to get us up.
All
We've
right.
helped too many people too far, too quick, too fast, and we're going to continue to do this.
Shout out to Present Pillars. Two good brothers.
Tell us your
Appreciate it, bro.
socials before we leave, man. Tell us 400 Black socials. Tell us that information.
All right, for 400 Black, we got a Facebook page, 400 Black Mentoring Program. Hit us up on there. Or you can follow me, myself, and the other founder, Jay McCree, on Facebook. Hit us up. We can give you all the information that you need. Yeah, for sure. My social media?
If you want.
Nah, y'all don't need that.
It's private. All right. That's Present Pillars. It's a wrap.
It's so to you about the
Peace.
What's up, Pops? Man, this is an episode you might want to watch twice. We appreciate this new dad for coming through and dropping some gems today. Every young dad will soon be a seasoned vet, and they will tell you that fathering is not for perfect men. It perfects the man. And Kevin didn't set out to be a single parent. He set out to be the best parent he could be. Until next time, all love, fam.
Hey guys, remember to like,
Subscribe
and ring that bell.
for notifications on our next episode.
Had to leave you in the past cause you won't rhyme with me.
Dreaming, but I'm still woke. Praying